Good evening and welcome along to the latest edition of the Endless Celts Podcast. We've gave Anthony the night off. He seems to have been hosting a lot lately. He's had to fill in, so we're doing him a wee favour tonight. How are you anyway, Anthony?
I'm really good, mate. Glad to be back on, and it's sounding as if there's no echo at this point as well, so hopefully the sound issues for a couple of weeks ago has been sorted. Aye, all good. I've had a day off today. We're trying to get some of the Christmas shopping and that done, so aye, productive wee day.
Good. And just to clarify, we all thought it was Anthony. It was the man to my left here who was the actual problem that day with echo. How are we doing, Stephen?
I'm good. Look, I want to dispute this. It was not me. My sound was perfect. People in the comments can back me up. And as Anthony said, just looking forward to talking about the performance of the weekend. Before we get there, I do want to do a special shout out to my granda. It is his 80th birthday today. So happy 80th, big man. To the biggest Celtic supporter I know, to the man who introduced me to Celtic Football Club, and to the best man in my life. So happy birthday, granda. And I hope you had a fantastic day. There was family over visiting from Scotland, and he really enjoyed himself. He got a big Celtic cake as well, and also an update on the Super Six.
Wait there. Well, we're doing shouts out, Stephen. Well, we're doing shouts
okay.
out. A certain Jed Thomas is in the comments. Became a granddad, I think, over the weekend or just late last week. So congratulations, Jed.
Congratulations, buddy. Congratulations. And the Super Six here, if we have a wee update on the table, with Kieran out in front again on 181 points, Mark Robertson 165, Anthony Dunn 161, Alistair Jack 157, tied with Kevin Hampsey, Stephen Coulthard coming up, Joe Finlay, William Dobbin, and then Jamie McElduff. Quite a tasty top nine there. Franny, is your name there? I don't know what you're doing this year, buddy, but you're nowhere to be seen.
It's spelt Kieran.
And get your picks in for tomorrow for Tuesday. Get them in.
We're on tomorrow for a Super Six. But welcome everybody in the comments and stuff. Pam, Paul, what's this one? Celtic 67. Plunge McNugget, Corvo's in there as well. So I'll try and remember this time to bring up comments, because Stephen just put me up for not doing it there.
You make that sound so bad. I only said to you because I was sitting and I was on the podcast with you, because my tablet's slow, right? And every time I click something, there's a pause between it coming up. And then last time you were on, I was like, he's fucking forgot to bring up comments. And you did. I wasn't putting it up.
So deny all responsibility, Stephen. Deny all.
Likewise with the sound, man. Definitely wasn't me.
That's it. Anyway, we'll get into it. A wee sort of a brief description for you each on Saturday's match. It wasn't much a talking point, but we'll kind of get into it, Stephen. Just a brief overview of what you thought of the game and stuff and things like that. Just how was it for you?
I don't know. There seems to be, I don't know what it is, but obviously all the stuff with the AGM, the fallout with the Green Brigade, all that kind of retaliation thing. There's a weird feeling around the club at the minute. I don't know if anyone else is picking up on this vibe, but I'm definitely picking up on just a strange, indifferent feeling when we should all be liking this football we're watching, get behind Brendan Rodgers and the team. And I think, unfortunately, it's going onto the pitch, it's transcending onto the football players who are representing Celtic at the moment. Look, I'm not saying it's to do with the support or things like that, but what I do see is just disjointed performances. I know we had a fantastic win against Aberdeen, but I think is that our third or fourth draw in the league? And
third in the league, I think.
Third in the league, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we just weren't clinical. I thought we started poorly. We had all the possession in the world, 100%, but you don't win games on percentage stats. We have to get the ball in the back of the net. I think we had like 2 shots. 2 shots on target, I think both for penalty kicks, and that for me is just not good enough. Do you know what I mean? And you don't want to be too harsh or too critical, because we're still top of the league. Obviously, they didn't capitalise on us dropping points, which were just evens the way it was. But Alistair Jack, but it's a strange feeling that I can't quite put my finger on at the moment. And the team, to me, some weeks were fantastic. The next weeks we're down a wee bit, and it seems to be the consistency levels as well, aren't there? And look, I still obviously trust in Rodgers and trust in the team he's building, and will go on to build and transfer windows to come. But just at this moment in time, after that performance, it's a strange feeling. I don't know. I can't. Is there a text in the group chat? I don't know how to feel. I genuinely didn't know how to feel. Usually I would react anger, or I would just let it go past me. But in that moment, I seen you talking to each other and debating what actually went wrong in the game, and I couldn't figure it out. I just couldn't figure it out, and I was like, I'm best us leaving this because I just don't know. Yeah, just don't know how to feel, Franny, to be honest.
It's kind of a strange one, and I don't know for yourself, Anthony, as well. You'd have been at the game, so you'd have maybe sensed the mood a wee bit different and things like that. But I don't know, it was maybe we were feeling a wee bit frustrated. Then obviously the Aberdeen result, it kind of keeps the status quo, and you maybe look at it from a different prism and things like that. And not saying paper over cracks. That's not the right term. But sometimes when you come off a bad result or a negative result, and then Rangers maybe follow up with a negative result as well, and it kind of maybe leaves you in that limbo. You want to be angry at the team, but then you're like, well, there's no ground lost. I don't know what. As I say, I don't know how you're feeling about it, Anthony. Just maybe a wee brief description of the game yourself and stuff.
Yeah, but kind of similar to Stephen. To be honest, mate, it was a bit of a flat kind of performance, so all round. And what kind of struck me was just that, and again, we know that there's a lot of, the kind of more regular players. There's a few big names missing at the moment, but there's still quite a lot. There's more than enough quality on that pitch to win the game, and essentially as well, putting on a better performance. It just seemed quite slow, a little bit turgid. Motherwell definitely did do the classic, 10 men behind the ball kind of performance, which the BBC and other outlets love to give credit for. But that's their gift. That's the way they want to play. Then fair enough. But it's up to us to find ways of breaking that down, and it just never seemed to. It was one of the days where there's games where you have performances like Parkhead, but you sense a goal's coming. You still feel real, but I'll be honest, I didn't feel as though we were going to score. And then we actually had to leave early on Saturday. It's not something I often do, but we had Jude's award night on Saturday night, so I had to get back sharp. So I actually left just as Turnbull scored, and it was a strange, even walking around to the car, I thought, you can't, as Stephen said, it's hard to put your finger on it, but you just had this sense that the game wasn't, there was still something else to come. And then obviously the guys that are always in, there's always somebody with a wireless, listening in, and obviously it filtered through quite quickly that Motherwell had equalised. And then by the time I got back to the car, I'd obviously checked the group chat, and the defence were rightly coming in for a lot of criticism for it. It was awful defending and goalkeeping, it has to be said, for the goal. It's not the type of goal you should be conceding. It was a real bad one. And I suppose, like you say, the fact that Rangers have failed to capitalise is probably kind of taking that proper blunt kind of anger away from it, so to speak. But definitely, it's not something that you want to be. It's not the type of performance that you want to be seeing repeated anytime soon.
Anthony, what was the atmosphere like?
It's the 1-1-1 was pretty densely populated.
Did you see the GB outside?
I didn't know. I was actually, by the time we got packed up on Saturday, me and my dad went for a wee Big Mac beforehand. So by the time we got round to the game, it was but down to our seats, it was about 2:30, 20 to 3. So by that point, whatever was happening had long dissipated, and the players had arrived and were training. Actually, when just as we were sitting down, they were doing their final run back into the tunnel to go and get the match kits on. So I didn't really see any of it, and because I wasn't on my phone, so I hadn't heard of any. There didn't seem like there'd been any fallout or clashes or anything like that. So yeah, if there was any action, as it was advertised as, it seemed pretty low key to me. The game itself, there was like very much there obviously wasn't the continuous chanting that you used to when the Green Brigade around, but generally when Celtic were, if it was a good tackle or a good bit of play, that would generate wee pockets of guys singing along, certainly down where I was. And then obviously as the game was wearing on, it was getting more and more kind of louder try to kind of soak the ball into the net, so to speak. But in terms of the match atmosphere itself, but what I also kind of try and point out as well, even when the Green Brigade are there and they do sing the full, you can't take that away from them, but even when you watch games back on the telly that they're there, it's not like raucous and loud, but it's like a constant noise, but it's not deafening or anything like that. So you don't notice a huge amount of difference from where I sit anyway. To be honest, the one thing you don't hear is a drum constantly getting banged, which I'm not too fussy about anyway. But there wasn't any kind of any aggression for like you say, fans with different opinions or anything like that clashing that I've seen of anyway.
I mean, what I've seen, it's certainly online and stuff, doesn't seem to be anything the Green Brigade had done that you can say you can maybe sort of have a go at them. It seemed all quite.
It's friendly. I think it's not that I'm trying to have a go. It's just saying.
No. Well, obviously they put out a statement saying how they were. There would be action before this game and stuff. They obviously then, so you don't know what that's going to be off the back of what's been going on and things, and then they do say, well, they say a time for everybody to turn up to welcome the team in the Celtic way. Maybe the cynic in me just knowing going by sort of for their previous history, certain behaviours and stuff, you're like, well, have they got to use this, and that could have a negative impact on the team. But certainly, again, what you've seen online anyway, there's no hint of them causing an adverse atmosphere, if you like. All looked very, very like, dare I say it, like a European night where they would sort of have the pyrotechnics and things like that. So it looked quite a welcome sort of thing. Apart from, I don't think they were too keen to Rod Stewart turning up, and they even, there's a lot of fans that even worse about it.
That's embarrassing. If you're doing Rod Stewart, you need to have a serious word with yourself. I mean, Rod probably, I don't know what was shouted or what was said. He probably could and should have just kept walking without reacting. But yeah, I've got no time for this. They claim to be a club open to all, and as long as you agree with every single thing they say. Rod Stewart's done wonders spreading the name of Celtic. Throughout, he's a big Celtic fan. He's obviously English born, a Scottish father, so he feels that kind of dual sense of identity. It's not a kind of identity that I have, but that's his gift, and he's a Celtic supporter, and he's been a Celtic supporter for as long as I can remember. So this whole if it's been something shitty that's been said to him, then that's out of line. But probably if I'd been him, I'd have liked to think I'd have just kept walking, because reacting to it just kind of gives them what they want, probably. But as I say, in terms of anything else, I didn't see any altercations with other kind of regular supporters.
But I know we weren't necessarily going to talk about it, but I have absolutely zero issue with him giving them the middle finger. We're all grown adults and stuff, and like you say, Anthony, we don't know the abuse he was getting. And to be fair, he looked, the pictures I've seen, he's doing it with a wry smile on his face and stuff. So it looks like he's taking the right nature, giving a wee bit back. If you've got, I bet he was getting some amount of abuse, because he apparently gets a free seat. Nobody knows if he gets a free seat or not. And at the end of the day, it's, for quite a lot of us would probably take a free seat at Parkhead if we were offered it at the end of the day. So we're all hypocrites when it comes to that. So I have absolutely zero issue with him getting the Green Brigade a wee bit back. I mean, we're all adults at the end of the day. If you've got to get it, you've got to expect a wee bit back. And just to kind of go to Celtic 67's comment about the Green Brigade, I know you were talking about it on Friday, Stephen. They do add atmosphere, but I think you're not going to just get that straight away. It's, again, for grown adults, maybe a wee bit embarrassed to start singing, and I think it'll just, if the Green Brigade, I think there will be some sort of resolution between them and the club. I would be surprised if it's not happened before the Celtic Rangers game. I think
I've heard the Hibs game. Celtic Hibs
I think they want them. I think they want them back before the Celtic Rangers game, mate. But in a hypothetical world, and a parallel universe somewhere that didn't come back, the atmosphere would naturally come back. It's got to be a natural kind of growth. I think it's not denying the ad atmosphere now, but I think it's, if they weren't to come back, it'd be one of the ones where it just naturally it would come back. Other factions groups would maybe pop up and start singing and stuff. So we've spoken about the Green Brigade a lot lately. We'll try and get banned, because in all fairness to them, there doesn't seem to be anything really to moan about. It all looked friendly at the weekend and stuff. But we'll get into the game. It was just, I wanted to kind of bring up Yang, who he's been coming in for a lot of credit lately and stuff, Anthony, and rightly so. His performances have credited that. But the weekend, I thought he started okay. I thought really doing anything amazing, but I think he kind of struggled and stuff. And I think you see it in him, but I'm going to put it down to age and stuff, that when things start not coming from, the confidence I feel like it shoots from him, and it doesn't seem to do. I think for about 30 minutes, he struggled to even beat a man. He had a great chance in the second half with a header that probably should score. I don't know what you thought about his performance. I don't think it's something, well, speaking of myself, it's not something I'm overly concerned about, but just maybe a bad day for him, really.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I did say in the group chat at half time, I'd probably take him off, because you say he wasn't getting any joy at all, and you could see that it was one of these days where it just nothing seemed to be going right for him. Obviously, he did change things up a bit in the second half, but bringing on, quite early on in the second half. But I mean, listen, he's one of these, until he gets a sort of a right run of games, you're not going to be able to tell what's his sort of more, what's more the norm and what more's the break from it. But he seemed to start okay, but then the game kind of drifted out of it very, very, very quickly. And just want to, Jed's actually, that's a fair point, Jed. He was poor, but I don't really think there's anyone that can really say that they've came away with a glowing report on Saturday. But yeah, it definitely wasn't one of his better days at the office, Franny.
Nah, it certainly wasn't, Stephen. And then I think he even there was a moment in the second half as well where I don't know if he totally got in O's way, but maybe put O off. I think O, as a striker and the confidence he'd showed the last few weeks and stuff, should have probably stuck that one away at the back post. But what was your overall thought of Yang's performance?
I actually thought our worst player was Palma. I thought Palma was abysmal in the first half. I was so surprised he came out for the second half. And I'm going to come on to Yang, but Palma, to me, don't get me wrong, he's been excellent. I think he has over 10 goal contributions in however many games he's played for us. So that's fair enough. But sometimes I watch Palma, and I think, to me, you can read where he's going 9 times out of 10. And I think the fullback coped really well for Motherwell. He's looking to cut in on the right foot most of the time. He was just showing him on the inside, and he was getting the ball most of the times. And Palma, you said Yang didn't beat a man. I think Palma probably got by his man once, and that was about it. He wasn't great. What I like about Yang, and put his performance to one side, he's always making himself available. He's always trying to do it again. He's always trying to get at the fullback. Maybe it didn't work for him in that game, but you cannot say he's hid from it. You cannot say he's kind of fell on the wayside. He's always looking for the ball. He was still getting into the box. I totally agree with you, Franny. He should have scored with that header. I mean, he was running in, and all he had to do was place it, and he ended up putting it at the place that was actually hardest, and that was past the post. It was baffling to me. I actually missed the opportunity. But you mentioned the O thing. I think both of them, we bit of miscommunication between them, and the ball just went out of play. But I like Yang because he never hides, and he's always available for a pass, and he's always staying wide and trying to do the best for the team in terms of creating something. Maybe what let him down the game was his final product, and that's something we spoke about before. He's really inconsistent with that. The last game against Aberdeen, he was frightening. I thought for 60 minutes he was incredible, and he got a goal. I think it was against them as well, so he played really well that game. But if I go back to Palma, I really just thought he struggled. I thought he was terrible. I really did. And every player's up for criticism. Like Jed said, the whole team were poor. But I was so surprised when he came back out. I really was. And I just didn't get his performance. But Yang was decent, but that was about it. I'll give him maybe good marks because he never hid from the ball, or he always wanted to be available for the attack. Like,
and I think that's fair. I do agree with you, Stephen. It doesn't, for a young boy, doesn't hide for the game when it's not going his way. And I think for me anyway, we said it plenty of times we are bad at wingers at that age. They're got to be hot and cold. They'll maybe play 2 or 3 good games, and they'll probably chuck in a game, a poorer game than what we've seen the previous week. So I'm certainly not concerned about his performance. I just thought he's kind of been one that's coming in rightly for a bit of praise, and he didn't have a good game. But like I say, that could have been labelled at a lot of the team.
Did you not think Palmer played bad? Did you not get that from the game?
Well, I'm not going to sit and say he played brilliant, Stephen. I actually thought he was one of our better players, because I just think he's a more creative player. I just think we show a lot of confidence in him, and we give him the ball a lot and expect a lot from him. So maybe sometimes we should be giving him a wee bit of help. But we'll kind of just we'll move on to the goal and stuff. We'll kind of talk about the goals. Obviously, more sort of a penalty, heartache, Anthony. Then we scored one and missed one and stuff. But obviously, the first one, like 2 penalties. I'm not going into the actual penalties. I think for me anyway, certainly the first one's a stonewaller. The second one, well, if you're Chris Boyd, it's not, because apparently Mikey Johnson's never getting near the ball. So I don't know where he's coming
Connor
from.
Goldson? Anyone hear Connor Goldson?
Well, Connor Goldson was apparently getting to the ball. That's what he said, and Mikey Johnson wasn't he? I know. But
me.
I've seen a few things online where Palmer's getting pulled up for his stuttering run up and things like that. I don't know what you thought of the penalty. Do you think the run up's a factor? For me, it's an excuse.
I'm not necessarily convinced that it's a factor, mate. It's just my own personal views on it. I don't know if I have any sort of data to say whether or not players that insist on doing this run up have more or less success than those that don't. It's just a preference. I hate players players doing that daft run. I even hate it when Jordan Henderson incorporated it into his celebrations when he was lifting trophies at Liverpool as well. It's just, I don't know what it is. It really grinds my gears, and I'm never confident. I'm not really. I know that Palmer took his right foot, so that's not really pointless for this chat. But I'm never. I'm the same way left-footed penalty takers. I'm never convinced at all.
See, when the left footers are taking a penalty, I'm never convinced he's scoring.
But when you look at, he took the penalty when we were up against Aberdeen, where someone kind of run up and put it away. He took it well. I don't know what it was. Maybe the fact that it was a stonewall penalty, and then it took VAR a lifetime to confirm it. But to the point where people in the stadium were starting to think maybe O's dived here. Like, there's no way that this should be taking as long to confirm this. And obviously, I've seen the footage back in real time, and how VAR needed to even look at it is beyond me. It's as stonewall a penalty as you can ever hope to see. But I don't know if did that play in Palmer's mind. I'm not sure. But even doesn't matter how he ran up, he didn't take the penalty well either. So it's frustrating for me. And again, although obviously David Turnbull, he scored his one. Don't get me wrong, and he took it well. But again, I've got a bit of an old school view about it. I think one of your 2 strikers should be taking the penalties, because then even if they do miss it, it's like, well, they're still your main goal threat on the park. So you're never ever going to score every penalty, but your strikers should be hitting them for me. And I have no idea why Kyogo or O don't seem to be in the pecking order to do it. Callum McGregor's missed God knows how many. Hatati's missed a few, and now obviously Palmer's missed as well. You almost feel like, what's the point in this? Because our success rate is, I think it's at just over 50%. I'm sure I heard somebody say on the radio on Saturday.
Something like that, anyway.
That's really no good. And again, without trying to going into the role of pantomime villain, I don't really think there's an excuse for professional football. A goalkeeper shouldn't really have a chance in a penalty again in a one-on-one. I get that, of course, in a shootout, it's a different type of thing, and it's happening all the time, and the laws averages suggest that eventually a keeper's has to save one in a shootout. But during the game, I don't think there's an excuse for it. It's certainly not to the amount of regularity that we're missing them. I would be, obviously that's why I'm not the Celtic manager and Brendan Rodgers is, but there would be punishment for me. I don't know whether it would be if you're the penalty taker and you miss, there's something not going in your wages that week. It's either 10 or 15% of your wages isn't going in the bank or something like that. That's how strongly I feel about it. There's no excuse for missing penalties in the regularity that we do.
I tell you, they were talking about Ross Duke being a Tory. I think that's some Tory chat just you're coming up with there.
Tory the Tory. Good job you know me, Franny.
I'll come to your selling in Palmer's penalty, Stephen. It would say the starting run up 1 week at what I can't really say he scored that penalty against Aberdeen was brilliant. I think for me it just comes down to I'm not too concerned about the run up. You see like Jorginho at Arsenal and Chelsea, he does a hop, skip and a jump and things like that. Paul Pogba, he's one of the worst run ups I think for a penalty, but if you look at his conversion rate, it's frightening. It's absolutely brilliant. Jorginho's the same. I think it's whatever really works for it. I think I do agree they starting run ups do look bad when a player misses them. And I can kind of see where Anthony's coming through with your strikers. Like, why isn't your strikers want to take them? I know O had the ball for the second one, and a wee bit of me was happy with that because it's shown that he's got confidence. But obviously, David Turnbull then asked for it, and what I did like is there was no wee sort of a scuffle saying, "No, I'll take it, you take it," and it could put you off and you end up missing it. So I like that, but I do understand the whole why is your striker going to take it, but equally, when you see Palmer score one like he did against Aberdeen, I'd not quite. I thought he was got to score. What did you think about his penalty?
First of all, both incidents were Stonewall penalty kicks. I seen Michael Mitchell put in there. Why did the person not get sent off for the tackle? No, it was a bad challenge, and I actually tend to agree with him on that front. But you talk about press. Leave Mugabe out of it. Mugabe's a superstar. But only for that game. He's a Ballon d'Or winner in my heart. That's where he's going to stay. But like Anthony said, look, he talks about pressure and the pressure you feel hitting the penalty kick. Could you imagine Tony being your manager and you're in the Champions League final? You miss the penalty kick to win it. You walk into the dressing room, Tony's like, "You're getting paid fuck all. You're shit." Could you imagine? But I actually agree. I actually agree with Anthony on that front. I think there should be, for our conversion rate to be 50% is abysmal. If it's anything below 90%, I think is unacceptable because you can maybe void a couple of penalties here and there. And you can't really say it's because we're not getting them often enough. I think we'll have the joint highest, funny enough, penalty kicks in the Scottish League at the moment. But actual penalty kicks, not just to help you in the 90th minute, if you get my drift. But and penalty kicks, it takes the VAR team 20 minutes to give. But Palma, I thought he telegraphed the first penalty. He never looked where you're going. Keeper read that situation comfortably, and it wasn't even in the bottom corner. It was mid, and it was a comfortable save for the keeper in the end. He should come off penalty kicks for me. I know we all talk about him as a set piece expert, but I think it's more from free kicks and corners that he does his damage. Turnbull, every time he's on the pitch, he usually takes a penalty kick, and I didn't feel unconfident when he was hitting it. I kind of trust Turnbull with penalties, but you look around that team, like Rio Tate's had a go, a couple of other players have threw their hat in the ring, and it doesn't really work out. We've just got a terrible record of penalty kicks. Even Rodgers spoke about it, that he doesn't know why, because they practice them, and it's strange. I mentioned, like Alistair Johnson, our right back, maybe hitting them for a laugh. Know what they should do in the dressing room, a wee raffle. No, before you go out in the pitch, you put put all these names in a hat. And whoever pulls it out, and whoever it may be, you're taking the pens. Carter Vickers is like, what? No one was, but it's just I don't get it. 52-53% conversion rate is shocking, and we should be taking advantage of these. And me and Anthony don't agree on much. Let's be honest, but missing from 12 yards out over a 50%. Wow, is nothing short of a disgrace. Nothing short of it. And if it's punishment, if it's wage fines, if it's one of them petty fines that they do, the wee court. Remember Neil Lennon done that court thing? He used to do the wee court thing with the players. Maybe bring that back again if you miss a penalty. I don't know, something to fucking make them hit it into the back of the net. The reason I think I've spoken about this before, I wouldn't let Kyogo take it. He for me is a striker on instinct. When you give him time to think, he rarely makes the right decision. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm thinking.
But then, see if you've got a clear shot at goal for 12 yards, who would you want in front of you?
Wouldn't be Kyogo. I wouldn't be confident with Kyogo.
No, I'm not talking about a penalty. Just the ball breaks, 12 yards out, free shot. Who are you wanting?
That's instinct. If he's running onto that, bang! That's instinct.
I know it is instinct, but at the same time, it's one of them. I'd probably want Kyogo on the end of that.
No, I wouldn't have him anywhere near penalty kicks. Wouldn't have him anywhere near. I would trust O to take a penalty kick. He can strike a ball, and we've seen him do it before. But I don't know. We don't have. I mean, can you go into the transfer window for a penalty kick taker? Is that an option? Do you know what I mean? If you miss
back Aaron Moy.
Oh, please. No. Why did you have to come on? Alistair Jack's going to be over that. If you miss a penalty, you have to sit beside Rod Stewart in the bus home. Wow. But I don't know what it is, but we scored one, missed one. There you go again. Yeah. O seems like that type of striker to me that hit one into the top bag continuously. He looks that confident, but Turnbull scored.
He's not got to start.
100%, mate. I get that, but Turnbull doesn't start, and he manages to take all her penalty kicks.
I know. So I'll kind of quickly ask you and stuff, because for me, I think Turnbull is a penalty kick taker, but unfortunately, Turnbull was not a regular in the team. He might now. I don't. Home, I thought played okay at the weekend. I think he was really good against Aberdeen. I'm quite excited to see him getting out. Hopefully, get a run in the team. Home, we'll get into it later. I don't think he'll play against Lazio. Bernardo, I don't know if he seems to play for the under-21s for Portugal team, and he's in and out the Celtic team. So maybe Turnbull will stake that claim while Hatate's out and stuff. But I don't know, for you, Anthony, who would, if you have to pluck a name, who are you taking the penalties?
Purely for the fact he's a striker, I take Stephen's points about instinct, but I just think it should be almost like an unwritten rule. Your striker should be hitting the penalties. So whether that would be 90% of the time, that would be Kyogo. If O was on the park, wouldn't have him an issue taking it. But yeah, as I say, I'm old school. No fancy run-ups, no trick shots, just straight through, laces through it. Get the net burst, and then we can go home happy.
I'm getting some stick for this, by the way. I'll come to you, Steve. A quick one. Who would you have on penalties for us? For me, I'm sticking Turnbull. I'm sticking
O'Reilly.
I can't hear left footer on penalties. Can I do it?
He's going on them. I'm making sure of it. He's going on them from now on. Mate, you don't know who's hitting them from week to week. It could be anybody. We don't have a set penalty kick taker, so O'Reilly's going to hit one.
I do think it is Turnbull, but obviously he's not in the team enough. I would say he's not regular in the team anyway when everybody's fit. So it's a strange, but it's our record for penalties is absolutely terrible. I think we can all admit that.
Shocking.
I agree on that one. But we'll just we'll sort of round up talking about the game. We'll go into other bits of the game, but we'll kind of round up. Obviously, we do get the late penalty with Turnbull. I mean, it was a fantastic penalty that he sticks away and stuff right in the corner. Mm-hmm. Just, I don't know if the keeper maybe gambled thinking he was going down straight down the middle because he just stood still. But then Motherwell got the park, and I don't know what you can say about that defender, Anthony. I don't know if you've managed to catch the replays. I know you said you had to leave early because you had other things on and stuff. So I don't know if you've managed to see the replay. But a big thing for me, I mean, there's plenty of culprits in there that can take the blame. Like Taylor doesn't cover his selling glory, but if you want to defend him in a sense, why is he on one of the biggest guys in the park? Why is it as simple as, well, because I don't think Abika started the match, so maybe Taylor was marking the guy that he replaced. Is it just as simple as that, oh well, you pick up him now? But I would imagine it's a wee bit more thought out than that you're on the pitch and you go, right, well, this guy's about 2 foot taller than me and about 5 stone heavier than me. I'll just push me off the ball. Can we swap? Joe Hart just gets caught in wouldn't say no man's land, but he just seems to totally misjudge the flight of the ball. And like one of the big concerning things for me is the fact that Obika doesn't need to do much. He's almost bending down to header it.
Great point.
About 4 yards out in the middle of the goal, and I'm like, why that late in the game is a ball essentially dropping there? I don't know. What's your thoughts on the goal, Anthony?
Yeah, pretty much all of the above, mate. And as I say, the defending was terrible, but as I say as well, Joe Hart really should be, quite man, ball, and everything in between. Joe Hart should be all over that. Instead, he was flapping at thin air. So yeah, pretty much everything you said. My other gripe always is as well. I think it's put players on the posts at corners as well. Because if you had a guy, anyone there on that post, it was the ball was moving so slowly that it could easily have been cleared. I've never understood why we don't do that. I don't know that some managers do it, some don't, but I've always been a fan of having players on the post, because, like you say, a corner kick, anything can happen. It can, deflections or bounces can go it can take the ball in a completely opposite direction. But had we had a guy on the post there, it would have been cleared and we'd have got away with one. But yeah, the set piece right across the board. I think Hart's probably the most culpable, because he's got to do better there. But like you said, I don't think any of the defenders covered themselves in glory.
Stephen, I think Anthony makes good points. It was just it was so many errors in it. Like the Joe Hart one, every time I see it, like, big fan of Joe Hart. I know you're also a massive fan of Joe Hart, so I'm assuming you'll be on this, but you've probably been about to let yourself go. You've probably been winding yourself up all weekend waiting on this moment. I do agree. It doesn't look great in him. Doesn't look great in Taylor and stuff. But it was not a great moment. It was not a great moment.
I don't think anyone noticed there, but Michael's comment again. He said, "Why was Taylor marking him? He was head and shoulders above him." I thought that was good wordplay. Head and shoulders. I hope that's what he meant. I hope that's what he meant. But
if it is, he's claiming it now.
If not, no, it's my joke. Alistair Jack done this to me before, and he took one of my jokes, and he said it was his, but it was mine. But look, lads, let's have a frank discussion here, right? If these type of games don't show you why we need a new goalkeeper, I am struggling. I'm struggling so bad to what game you are actually watching. This is a joke. This is the joke.
Goalkeeper, Stephen, but
I know, but I'm saying for anybody watching,
it wasn't an emergency like it was when we needed Joe Hart.
Well, for me, it's a fucking big emergency now. See all this irrational decision making that he's starting to do, coming out in the first half, trying to get the ball. He's nowhere near it. He nearly got lobbed. That goal there, like you said, 4 yards from his line. Where is he? He's star jumping. He's doing a weird flap thing on his goal line. Nobody knows what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? Greg Taylor gets, remember this one, flung about like a wet trackie. We all know what that means. He gets flung about like a wet trackie. Like, he didn't even make an effort. Like, I don't care if he's 5 foot and he's 7 foot. You put your body up against him and you go toe to toe. He just fell like a fish. Obika, like you said, didn't have to do nothing and just put the ball in the back of the net. And Anthony, you're bang on again. A player on that right-hand side post would have cleared that all day long. Maybe that's another fine that you need to issue into the dressing room. But Joe Hart he's gone now. And like, it wasn't a necessity. It was, yeah, Celtic gets it 100%. You're right, it wasn't a necessity, right? But I mean, I don't know. I'm like winding myself up, trying to hold myself back here. He's just not good enough no more to be Celtic's number one. And another criminal thing is as well, he's comfortable knowing he's going to be our number one, because Segrist and Bain aren't going to challenge him, so he doesn't have someone sniffing up his arse and trying to push his game forward. Obviously, he's an excellent trainer, but when you have competition for places, it pushes it that wee bit further. Greg Taylor, you all know my gripes with Greg Taylor, and we all said it the summer, left back, goalkeeper, striker, left back, goalkeeper, striker. Never happened. People are saying it's not a necessity. Well, unfortunately, lads, in Europe, Greg Taylor's been found out constantly and Joe Hart is now being found out on a domestic level. And quite frankly, some of that starfish flapping and coming out to the edge of the box is embarrassing. And it pains me to say it. We should replace him in January as soon as possible, and let him go to Shrewsbury. We all know he wants to end his career in League Two in England. Let him go there as soon as possible.
And he just randomly dropped it there. I don't know if that was me or not.
He's back.
Oh,
He did.
just like everybody went at that point there.
He didn't like my opinion. He didn't like my opinion. He's gone.
I think that's a wee bit harsh for Alistair. Come on, son. Come on, what are you drinking then?
Nah, maybe not 18 months ago, but definitely now. 100% now. Please tell me you agree, Anthony. Please, come. You have to.
I'm not adverse to. I'm not adverse to us buying a new goalkeeper. I think we may struggle in January to get maybe who we would see as a long term, unless the weird one for me. And Ross has touched it. I think we've kind of both said it as well. Like January is predominantly a hard window to get players in, because who us as fans will want are probably first team regulars. If we go and buy a third choice goalkeeper for a team, might be a really good goalkeeper, better than Joe Hart, up and coming, people go, it's another project. It's like, you're not going to. I think it's hard to get who you actually want in January.
But then I would argue, frankly, a third choice goalkeeper at an Eredivisie, a Serie A, EPL club is probably, if not on standards or better. I totally agree, Stephen. It might be, and this guy is case in point. I think he's third choice at Real Madrid and is getting spoke about. He's only 23, 24, Ukrainian number one. But I think the way folk might look at it and paint it is going, well, when we're replacing our number one with a number three, and it's like, well, there's no happy medium. And I think people get carried away. Like you say to folk, January is predominantly a hard window to deal with, and it's like, oh, well, that's you making excuses already. Look what we've done when we got Maeda, Hatate and things in. It was like, well, but Japanese league was finished then. That's essentially their summer. Folk choose to ignore that, but I'll agree, that was a good January window. But that January window was somebody's essentially summer window. So I think it'll be hard to get first team. I know Rodgers is saying again, quality. That's what he wants, quality. I will be surprised if we get the quality we're all expecting in January, because it's just a hard window to deal with. Hard window to deal in, but you might pick up one or two. But I think our main business will be done in the summer, because I think Rodgers will predominantly be shopping in European markets as opposed to where Ange was going and things like that. But that's just kind of wrapped up the game. But I want to, without still kind of talk about the game like it was a poor day at the office. But I'll come to yourself first, Stephen. Do you think Rodgers maybe has got to come up a bit of criticism? I thought, for me, when we missed the first penalty, I know we've said plenty of players weren't playing well and stuff, and you yourself said you didn't think Palmer was playing well. But I thought it was strange as soon as he misses his penalty, that you take him and Kyogo off. You're still needing that goal, and you take your biggest goal threat off in Kyogo, and I would argue your most creative player. Maybe O'Reilly's got a stake for that as well, but like, one of, if you're not your most creative player, and Palmer, maybe there was a wee bit of fatigue for him, obviously coming off the back. I think he only arrived back in Friday anyway, but sometimes it's maybe said at the start of the game, obviously, well, I just want a good 60, 70 minutes out of you, but I think sometimes when you're needing a goal, you've got to keep these players on, surely. I thought they were too strange. I know it sounds stupid saying that, because obviously wins a penalty that you score off, and Turnbull scores that penalty. So they two subs that came on effectively impacted the game. But I just think at the timing of it was very strange for me. Well, I thought originally when he brung 0-1 for home that he was going to go 2 up top or play Kyogo slightly off 0 up top, and then, like you said, it was a strange decision. I could understand why he took Palma off, but then I couldn't understand why he took Kyogo off, because, like what you said, we've seen him go to the front two a few times during the season. I thought that's what he was going to do, like a 4-4-2, Johnson and Yang on the other wing with McGregor O'Reilly just kind of sitting. And it didn't kind of work out like that. I was quite surprised. And I thought that overall, I mean, the game itself, you mentioned all the players. I thought that we were just poor on all fronts. I really did. I thought that we were so ineffective in the game. Like I said, we had all the possession that you could ask for. I think it was 81%. But Motherwell, every time they broke up the pitch, after you were at the game, you might be able to say this better than me, but on the TV, they looked dangerous. They looked really athletic. They looked quick. They had a couple of 2-on-2s, a couple of 3-on-2s, and just for bad judgment on their part, they didn't get free on goal. But the subs. This is what I'm trying to say. I can't put my finger on how I feel. I really can't. It was like Johnson coming on trying to save us the game. For me, is just criminal. I think when you bring on O, you take off home. You're expecting the front two just go full pelt at it. Maybe a couple of long balls, kind of roughing up their centre halves because we weren't really making an impact. Kyogo actually got more involved in the game. When it went to O up top, he was dropping deep. He was linking play. He was getting into the box. He was making runs. Them late runs into the box where defenders can't pick up. And then once that went, we just kind of drifted out of the game, bar the penalty kicks. And as I said at the start of the podcast, 2 shots on goal, 2 penalty kicks. That is not good enough. And it's a far contrast from the Aberdeen game when it felt like, it felt like we were watching Postecoglou's team again against Aberdeen. Just relentless football, direct passing, bang, bang, bang. And I'm not saying anything wrong with Rodgers here, but that was a stark contrast. And I just felt it was lazy football, sideways passing, ineffective passing. The centre-backs had the most of the game. Liam Scales and Carter Vickers had a field day passed it to each other. And we just weren't good enough to win that game, to be honest.
And I kind of agree with that. And actually, Jed said the Motherwell played anti-football. I tend to kind of agree with that a wee bit, but that's it right. They're off the back in 9 games.
Game plan.
Obviously, they're on to 10 now, but I think they'll take a lot of positives to come to Celtic and get a point from it, especially after going down 1. But I don't know what the mood was like at the game, Anthony. Certainly, by 65 minutes played, still a big chunk of the game left. And like you say, you take off your main goal scorer, and you take off Palmer, and you bring on Mikey Johnson. I mean, I've probably got to be really unfair on the guy because I think he's had his time at Celtic. I can't be dealing with the guy anymore. But I do appreciate that he's only there out of necessity now because obviously Maeda and Abada's injured and things like that. I think people are choosing to ignore that. But obviously we did see, touch on Tilly as well. He came on and had a wee cameo, looked quite bright and stuff. Again, I think he was on more Yang was knackered and had to go off. But for me, I thought the substitutions were a wee bit strange, Anthony, the timing of them anyway.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, the mood around the ground, the crowd stuck with the team, the full game. And as I said, it tended to get louder as the game was going on, trying to back them. There wasn't that sort of sense of kind of anger or any abuse getting directed at the team that I could sense anyway. I don't know, but it's a big part. There'll maybe different pockets elsewhere, but definitely down our way, it was supportive rather than anything else. But I think probably, don't get me wrong, Kyogo he hadn't done much in the game up until the point when he did come off. So I think the actual original chat around that point was obviously took a bad injury against Aberdeen, and obviously he's still maybe not 100% over that. So we actually thought it's maybe been done as a precaution, but then I've not heard anything to suggest that was the case, the after-match comments or anything like that. So yeah, it was a bit of a strange one, yeah. But I know what you mean, Fran, in terms of we all know if the squad's, if a fairly fit squad, Mikey Johnson's not getting a look in. He's not even getting on the bench, let alone in the team. But it's just the case at the moment. Abada's out, Maeda's out, and I think James Forrest wasn't even on the bench yet on Saturday either. So you have to play somebody. I didn't see Tilly. I know he came on, but as I say, I was already gone by that point. But I did hear that he looked decent when he came on, so that's encouraging. But yeah, I don't imagine. I think come January, I think Mikey will be in pastures new away for Celtic.
I think just for the guy's own career, really, and I think he's been here about 8 years or something, and only played like 80 games or something. I've not got to. I'm sitting in my living room here. I'm not going to try and. It is my gift as a fan to be able to slate a player.
Say what you want to say. Say what you want to say.
Like pretend that I know it all, but you don't get to Celtic if you're a bad player at the end of the day. But I just think he's maybe just.
Emilio Baldi did.
Well, that's true. That's true. True. But I just there's no denying the boy's got talent, but I just think it's not at Celtic. It's not going to happen for him. So I just think it's. I can't take to Mikey Johnson anymore. I'm sick of seeing
I think Mikey Stewart spoke about this in one of his podcasts before about when he broke into the team at Man United. You know, that great Man United team, you know, your Scholes, your Giggs, your Beckhams and all that. And there's no that Michael Stewart was a terrific football player, but he didn't have enough time, regular time in that team to really go on to the next level. And to a lesser, obviously not to that kind of scale, I would say it's similar with Mikey Johnson. Like you say, there's no denying he's a talented player and he's a bag of tricks and he's been effective for us in the past. But throughout a number of things, most of it being injuries, it's hampered his progress. And now there's just guys above him in the pecking order, and it's unfortunate, but it's football's a ruthless sport, unfortunately, and he's had chances, and it's unfortunate. Some players are just injury prone. It's just not something that can be helped. I don't think there's ever been any accusations of him, feigning injury or anything like that. It's just that is what it is. Sometimes his body's probably let him down, but as I say, but I'll give him his due as well. He's never ever kind of complained or made excuses or anything like that. I mean, he'd done an interview just recently there, and it was a lot he'd taken on himself. He says, I've got to, try and get better and things like that. So you got to applaud him on that sense. But yeah, just like you say, Franny, I think it's just realised that that I think that time for him has passed now to be any kind of regular in the team, and for the sake of his own career, it's probably better that he would, get more regular game time elsewhere.
Totally. It's like to kind of sort of flip it a wee bit for him. I think I've said that for him. I just wonder if the League Cup final where Julian scored, where he was going through 1-1, if he sticks that away, might have had a different Celtic career. Then obviously, hindsight, the St Johnstone game where Lennon, the infamous one where Lennon tells him to fuck off when he's came on injured and he's lasted a couple of minutes and stuff. And
I felt sorry for him that night because he's probably.
To be honest, I did, Anthony. I was probably in Lennon's camp, but I think, like I say, hindsight, you get the better. You go, well, I can understand it when you look at. He's had tons of injuries. He's got a chance. He's got to say aye, and then 2 minutes later or whatever it is, and then we're having to play with 10 men chasing the goal and stuff. So I think he just needs to move on.
With what you're saying about, I think you're bang on. By the way, I think he would have a different outlook on the fact if he was known as somebody that settled a cup final against Rangers rather than the guy that missed a golden chance against Rangers. There's a certain psyche in fans' minds that I totally agree. And also I used this example when I was through at Celtic Park the day that we lost the dead rubber game against Rangers at the tail end of last season. Me and my dad, my sister and the wee boy, we went through to Parkhead to watch the beam back in the Kerrydale suite. And obviously Rangers scored quite early on that game, and then 10 seconds later we were right up the park, and done everything. His technique was perfect, but it shaved the post and went out for a goal kick. I think he's still to an extent suffering that kind of way as well. He's remembered as the guy that missed a sitter against Rangers, and I think although he's won a cup, he's scored a couple of match winners since, but I think until he has one of the big moments, like if he scores a winner in a European game or scores in a big game against Rangers, I think he suffers from that similar kind of outlook amongst a large section of the support.
Totally, but I will no doubt I'll not get your thoughts on this team, because no doubt we'll be talking about Mikey Johnson soon in the January window, and no doubt in the summer of 2025 when he's still kicking a bit.
2030 for fuck's sake.
But we'll quickly bring up the Scottish Cup draw. We'll not really delve too much into it because we'll bring it up because obviously it was made yesterday. I was sitting watching it, and I actually put in the group chat because I think there was 4 fixtures still to come out, and Celtic and Rangers hadn't been pulled out of the draw. And I was like, surely not. Then the next thing we were out, we got a home tie against Bucky Thistle, we started defence of the trophy. We've won the most times in Scotland and stuff. So, no upset as this team. Surely no, it's no an Inverness Gally Thistle moment coming up.
With these look, I still watch the FA Cup for these ties. I like we non-league teams or part-time teams playing the big boys, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see this game and watch it. Something else, Bucky Thistle, something different. I haven't seen this team before. I know I was listening to, I think it was their chairman, done an interview today saying this tie is going to set them up for years to come. And apparently he pumps hundreds of thousands of pounds into Bucky Thistle because they're a Highland League team, and he said his expenses to keep them going. So, like again, it's the romantic of the cup competitions, isn't it? You like these things. Like I remember growing up and I was watching like I don't know what Farsley Celtic against Bolton, like things like that. Either wee stadiums are all filled and everyone is eating the pie and they're all going mental and wee kids are there supporting the team. Albeit it's a Celtic Park, but it's the same feeling. I'm sure they'll bring a fantastic away support with them. And I know they're playing green and white. I'm sure it's green and white stripes. I think. So, you know what I mean? It's the romantic nature of the cup, and I'm looking forward to it. Is it going to be a game we're going to win? 100% should be a game we're going to win. It's a cup game. Do you know what I mean? It's a one-off tie. We always say that's about Champions League. So you have to give the team respect, do your research, do your tactical analysis, whatever you have to do, and pick the best team possible to win that game.
Totally. And it's I don't know if you've seen the video, Anthony. Obviously the team, the Bucky Thistle team, were watching the draw and the celebrations in the pub and that's classic. Like Stephen said, it's the romance of the cup. I think that's missing a wee bit for the FA Cup because I think they bring in seedings in the FA Cup, whereas I don't think we do that now. So you don't necessarily see these ties pop up. Well, I say that and somebody's just popped this in the comments. Feel like that says I totally forgot about that Darvel came against Aberdeen and stuff. So I feel like these type of games are rare and stuff. So it maybe would have been, well, maybe not for Bucky Thistle's point of view in the sense that when they think of the finances, that the financial gain for them is better at Celtic Park, but maybe the romance in me would have maybe preferred the tie, the reverse tie of it. But it's a competition that's we're well versed in our history and stuff. It's one way I like to win, as the history books will tell you as well. And without jumping away at the final, it's a game. The final of the Scottish Cup. It's usually Susan Sunshine. It's what Celtic's all about. It's playing that last game of the season. Sends you away in the summer if you win it, and a good mood, good outlook and stuff. And so it's the perfect tie that you should start that journey, I guess.
Absolutely, mate. As I say, I was away in Glasgow last night, but I heard the news that we'd drawn. I messaged my big brother saying it's your two favourite things going off against each other, Celtic and Bucky. As the end of it knows there, Kev knows he's a fan of the old Coatbridge champagne, but no, you're absolutely bang on, mate.
Mad that's where that Celt the most, eh? I heard that on the radio.
I think so. I think that in the world now of VAR and sports washing and all that, you forget what football's supposed to be all about. And the footage of the guys all celebrating it, the players are celebrating in the pub. That for me is what football's all about. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Scottish Cup, and it's a great draw. There's no two way about it. And I think I'm certainly hoping that Celtic if we can pack the place out a bit more as well. Let's not have a ridiculous ticketing price for a game in the third week of January. Lower the price a wee bit, and you'd rather have a full house or a relatively full house compared to having it pricing it at £35, even though it's going to be on the TV and 20,000 turn up. I love the Scottish Cup games when it's a lot busier. And I'll be there. That's my birthday weekend, so I'll be there one way or another. And looking forward to it. Like as Stephen says, there certainly shouldn't be any issues on the part with getting the result, but it's a great occasion, and it'll set Bucky up for years to come. And if we want to earn our sunny days at Hampden in May, these are the games that you've got to play in to get through. So I don't foresee any slip ups, but absolutely superb occasion. And even the other massive news as well, and nearly had to pick my jaw off the floor, was the the bootleg Rangers getting drawn away from home as well. Gee, wonders we'll never see.
Who are they against?
Dumbarton, I think.
Dumbarton,
Oh, for
got an away
fuck's
tie.
sake.
They obviously forgot to heat the Bhoys up before they put them in. It's a great occasion. That, and like you say, Anthony, I hope, just for Bucky's sake as well, their players, like I say, they're part-time players. It'd be great if they get a massive crowd. No disrespect to them, again, it's unlikely to kind of get that kind of opportunity again to play in such a big stadium and stuff. So I hope they get a great turnout just for the boys as well and stuff. So it'll be good whole occasion for them. But we'll just kind of we'll move forward to tomorrow night in Rome. Look ahead to Champions League football again. It's a weird one because I think if I looking at the group, even to get a third, we need to win both games. I think we need to win tomorrow by 2 clear goals. I think the way the points going, I blame got to try and gun it, but I think if we need to obviously beat Feyenoord and win the Mora and hope Fire. I don't think with the goal difference and stuff, we're miles back. I've tried to work it out, but I can't actually totally work it out. But I know there obviously is a total outside chance, Anthony, that we can actually finish second, but we need to obviously win both games, and then we would need to hope other results go our way, that Atletico Madrid win both their remaining games off the back of that. And I think even then, I think it's Feyenoord that would be sitting second. We'd need to obviously beat Feyenoord with 3 clear goals, because what was the final score? Was it 3-1? They beat us
2-0.
2-0.
We'd need to win by 3 clear goals to finish second, and I think we need to win by 2 clear goals against Lazio to finish third. It's something mad like that. I think we need to do. I don't have no total win in it, but just before we kind of go into a score and particularly, what are you thinking of tomorrow? Do you think we can maybe get? I know Chris Sutton will not be commentating, but do you think we can get another moment where Rome is conquered?
I certainly hope so, mate. Although for some of the permutations to work out, we might need a wee bit of divine intervention. But I think we've got that one cornered, because for what I read, the team's going to be guests of honour with Pope Francis tomorrow at the Vatican. So hopefully they complete a few rosaries, and miracles can happen. As Brendan always signs off on all his programme notes, anything is possible. So listen, Lazio. In the first game, it was a smash and grab. It was the last kick of the ball. They got the winning goal. It was absolutely sickening, because we had put in a very similar performance levels to that we did against Atletico, and didn't get. I thought we deserved at least a point on the night against Lazio. Put it that way. And obviously, we remember, the Aizen Maeda's toenail being that's how small the margin was that we didn't get the second goal a few minutes before. So I don't think this Lazio team it's not going to be like a difference like with Atletico, whereas we had a fantastic performance against them at home, but you kind of always felt like we were going to be. It was very much David against Goliath in the return leg. I don't think we should have that type of feeling going into this game. I think, Lazio are obviously a decent outfit, but they're not Atletico Madrid by any stretch of any imagination. And like you say, we've had for the good result there recently as well. I think it's incredible to think the last 3 times we've played Lazio, all 3 games have been 2-1, and all winning goals have came in the dying moments. Twice it's went in our favour, and obviously, unfortunately, Lazio got the upper hand in the last game. So, anything's possible. I don't, I really hope it doesn't turn into a typical away night for us. But I don't think we've got anything to. I don't know if fear's the right word, but they didn't show me that they're an outfit we should be, terrified of playing in their home pitch. We turn up and give a good account of ourselves to the best we can. I think there's more than enough chances getting something out of the game.
No, I totally agree, Anthony. And I'll come to yourself, Stephen. In the Champions League, it's where you want Celtic to be doing better, which is fair. You want us to do better in Europe and stuff. Again, I think it's fair for you. And Lazio, I agree with you, Anthony. I don't like. Of course, they're a good team. And it will be slightly different for Parkhead, but I agree with your comparison with the difference in Atletico Madrid home and away is night and day, where I think this will be very similar. I think without really knowing how Lazio are playing, when you look at the sort of the recent run of games, it's a very mixed bag, shall we say, and they're obviously picking decent results up in Europe, but they've also, in the league, I think they're sitting 11th in Serie A, which I admit is a better standard than the Scottish League, but it's not the Serie A that we, certainly me and yourself, Anthony, obviously a wee bit more a vintage than Stephen, that would have grew up watching Italian football when it was, we thought it was great, but I think latterly we're finding a lot of it was rigged, so there's maybe a reason it was great. But it was great football back then. All the best players in the world were there, but it turns out because there was a lot of dirty money maybe kicking about there, and that got all these players there. But I'm with Anthony, Stephen. I'm not going to be on here not that I'm on Friday, but I wouldn't be on here on Friday sitting having it. But it's hard to say that not on the performance. But if we kind of lose similar to how, if the game goes similar to how it went at Parkhead, where you're well in the game for big, and it's a smash and grab, like Anthony said, I wouldn't be on here Friday slating Celtic. I still think Lazio are a decent side, but again, I think it's a side, and I think it's a team purely looking at their form without actually seeing a minute of their football apart for the time we played them. I think it's a game, for me anyway, I think we should be targeting to whether we get, like we say, I spoke about all the permutations and how we need to qualify is almost nigh impossible, even with a couple of wins and things. Well, to get to the top of the group anyway. But I think it's to even just try and get that win in Europe and just build a foundation to go forward. I certainly think it's a fixture you can look at.
Well, I mean, all the fixtures bar Atletico Madrid are fixtures we can look at and do better in, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, we haven't. That's the case in point here. I know people say we compete really well, which we do in games, but we lost the Lazio game, 5 margins, the Feyenoord game, 2 men sent off, and the Atletico games were just...
we didn't get Spurs sent off because also 2 games away from...
Aye, yeah, 100%. Atletico games I will accept were basically free hits. We got a fantastic result, 2 each at Parkhead. Brilliant night, brilliant occasion. But yeah, it's nigh on impossible unless, as you said, results go in our favour. We even qualify for Europa League. It's going to be a really tough task. And going away to the Lazio, Anthony mentioned the result we got last time with Lenny in charge. But again, this is a totally different Lazio team. It's a totally different Celtic team, different set of tactics, different set of managers. The Lazio have been really indifferent in Serie A, from like you, Franny, going off their recent games, and I think you're right about their league position. They're not doing that well, but they still got the likes of Immobile, Felipe Anderson, players of that kind of quality who can cause you problems. And it's a team, in my opinion, that Celtic shouldn't be afraid to go toe-to-toe with. I think we could take the game to them. I think we showed in the first game, if we keep our possession quick, we keep the passing fresh and crisp, we can cause them problems, take our chances when they present themselves. And the only thing that concerns me, I know you're going to come on to it, is the availability of players. I mean, Palmer will be out, Maeda will be out, so is he going to do a formation change? Maybe a 3-5-2, something of that nature. Obviously, you'd have to start Johnson on one wing and Yang on the other. If Palmer is out, he's suspended. He got booked. Yeah.
For fuck's sake, I'll bet it's got put him
So he's out. So that's a big issue unless there's a formation change. But at the end of the day, look, the last 2 games here are basically dead rubbers, in my opinion. I know there's slim hope that we can do it, but the Champions League campaign in a whole for me is done. I think the European campaign in a whole for me is completely over, unless a miracle happens. What I do want to see is what Franny said, building a foundation for next year. Get a win, at least, out of the one of these 2 games coming up next. Away from home in Lazio will be difficult. But a win is worth 1.5 million. So, I mean, there's money go back into the club there if we get these victories. As Stephen Murdoch, I'll cheer up. But I hope we get at least a win between the Lazio and Feyenoord game. Tomorrow night, I don't think if it ends up like the Atletico game, I'll be absolutely fuming. Because, like you said, Anthony, they're no Atletico Madrid by any means of the imagination. That Atletico team's filled with superstars, bringing on World Cup winners from the bench. They don't have that type of quality in their squad. So I'd be expecting us to go there tomorrow with no fear. I'd be expecting us to approach the game with an attacking sense and looking to take something out of it. And hopefully that's maybe a point or a victory. And I'll be actually quietly chuffed if we manage to even get one or two of them results there.
Just put me down there, Stephen. Just put me down.
Why?
I forgot Palmer was suspended. But it's certainly not going to be an easy night. No game isn't at this level. And stuff. Oh, there's a wee fucking still game one you might get, Anthony, back in South Africa.
Fans will be very upset with the board. Yeah, well, hope so. I hope that we can pull it up.
The way you said that, I hope they're going to be upset with the board. I hope so.
No,
he answered it well. I don't know where he was. I don't know. I mean, fair play to actually getting an answer for that. I just mere saying the South Africa thing, and it just made me think it's still a game where they were talking about who's the furthest away your shag.
Oh, Jesus, man, that was
South Africa.
No, it's listen, Celtic could win 6-0 tomorrow night, mate, and there'll still be folk that have issues with the board. So yeah,
I think the key is it's certainly got to be a hostile atmosphere and stuff. It's a hostile stadium. It's hostile fans. I've said hostile quite a lot there.
You did say quite a lot. You have me scared, and I'm watching it on TV.
I think we're just going to have to try and. I mean, it's easy to say. Just got to try and keep them quiet early on. Just try and not concede an early stupid goal or whatever. A typical Celtic goal away from home in Europe, I suppose, would be the best thing. So I just keep it tight and try and quiet them, get the fans on their back and stuff, maybe, and just really just try and bulge your way into the game, I guess. And just coming on to it, I'll come to yourself first, Anthony. We'll start with your team and then just a wee score prediction. Bear in mind, you need to score Palmer off your team, do you know?
Yeah, I think so. My dad forgot that he'd been booked as well. So yeah, that'd be Joe Hart and goals. I think Alistair Johnston will return at right back. Taylor, Scales, Carter, Vickers. So I would imagine so. That kind of team, but part of the team picks itself. Cal McGregor obviously start. O'Reilly and Bernardo maybe. But I think it maybe be a potential just to try and offer a wee bit more security in the middle of the park. I was thinking, and then I think Kyogo will start up front, and then I'm not sure if he's injured or not because he wasn't in the team at all on Saturday. But potentially, I would say James Forrest on the right, just with the absence list being what it is. So if he's fit, I would imagine Forrest would start on the right, and yeah, it'll probably be Johnston on the left as well. So yeah, to say we're up against it's kind of goes without saying. But having said that, James has scored the equalising goal in Rome the last time, so I'd love him to repeat that. So I'll go 2-1 Celtic. Mikey Johnston to score the winner.
James Forrest, Anthony. That was when you said Mikey Johnson. I was like, oh no. But it's just a strong possibility. And what was your score, sorry?
2-1 Mikey Johnston to score the winner.
Wow.
Let's go for it, Anthony. What about yourself, Stephen?
Well, I'm going to go a formation change. I'll go 3-5-2. I'll go Joe Hart and Nats. The back three of Nat Phillips, Carter Vickers and Scales. A midfield five of Alistair Johnson, Matt O'Reilly, Cal McGregor, and Odin Thiago Home and Greg Taylor on the left, obviously playing as wing backs, both him and Johnson. And then up top, I'll go O and Kyogo. I do not think for the life of me, Johnson. I don't think for the life of me, Johnson should be anywhere near Champions League starting team. And it'll make me ill if I see his name in the team sheet tomorrow. That is no, by the way, I'm not being disrespectful here, but as Franny said, his chances came and gone. He needs to leave the club and go on the pastures new. So that's the reason for my 3-5-2. And then maybe within the game, you can change it to a 4-3-3 with Tilio, Yang, bring them on for speed, wee bit of explosive dynamism in the final third of the pitch. My score prediction, I'll go 2 each.
Stephen, come on.
2 each.
Mikey John has registered, didn't he? Because I think he's was one.
That's a good point. That's
Homegrown.
He is. So I think
Homegrown,
he's-
he'll probably come for the homegrown reason.
Stephen, I never actually gave a thought to change the formation, and I'd seen some folk mention the 3-5-2, but when you say it out like that, it becomes a 5 when you're defending essentially, and Kyogo can maybe drop in to make it sort of a 5-4-1 if you want, and when defensive. So I can probably see that in it. To be honest with you, the only reason I wasn't going to is you tend to find you hear professionals saying like 3 at the back is totally different from playing your 4-3-3. It's totally different, but the fact that your wing backs are still essentially are right and left back that plays every game on. I'm certainly not adverse to that team, Stephen. That right now it probably wouldn't surprise me, but I've went with same back 4 as yours, back 5 as yourself. I think that right now that picks itself though. The only slight doubt I've got is maybe Scales, how obviously he taken a bad knock at the weekend. I know he carried on, but you never know if something. I've not heard anything to suggest that he won't be playing. I don't know if maybe his eye maybe sort of swelled up or anything. I've not heard anything, so I'm just assuming he's got to be okay to play. I've picked a midfield. I was toying with Bernardo Anthony, like you say, just for legs and cover, but I've went McGregor, Turnbull, O'Reilly. I think Turnbull just come in just off the back. His
Jesus!
It's not pacey. It's not pacey. I'll admit, Stephen.
It's not pacey. Like it's not pacey.
I was cutting Yang some slack and having him in Palmer, but I had Yang on the right, but I've had to swap him out and put him on the left, and I'm bringing James Forrest in. I think James Forrest will start on the right, and I'm going Kyle. So I've went Hart, Johnston, CCV, Scales, McGregor, Turnbull, O'Reilly, Forrest on the right, Yang on the left, Kyle up front, and I'm going really bold and going 3-1, keeping the dream alive, getting the result we need, getting the result we need to keep the dream alive. But
well, you have to be positive. As AR said, there's no point turning up if you're not positive.
It would certainly make match night 6 very interesting.
It would. It would. Let's hopefully we're going into match day 6 and not being a damp squid, so to speak, and we're going into it with something to play for, whether that be to finish second or third. It's be great to go into it, but we'll round up the. What is this? What's he? He's been giving me it stinking for this top.
Anthony, I have to say to you, mate, I love watching you holding in your yawn. I thought you were crying. All I see was his face going.
That last one was good.
It's like Ross trying to hold in his laugh whenever I have a slip of the tongue, shall we say.
On that note, we'll wrap up the night. If you enjoyed
Actually,
it,
Franny, two wee seconds. Franny, can you turn your comments off, please?
Right.
We're brought back the end of the quiz show, the last podcast, so we may as well keep it going while we can.
For that, then.
Same 5 questions between Franny and Anthony. I think Willie won the last one between him and Ross. And the first to 3 will get it, or the first, whoever answers the most within the 5. You know. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Question number 1. Who was the first England manager to make David Beckham captain?
Sven-Göran Eriksson.
Oh, it was.
Wrong, Franny.
So it would have been before. Oh, no, it would have been after Hoddle. Wouldn't it have been Roy Hodgson? Then?
No, Peter Taylor. Question 2. Which former West Ham player guided Croatia to 2 famous wins over England?
Davor Šuker?
Nope. Anthony, over to you.
Slaven Bilic.
1-0 to Anthony. Slaven Bilic it was. Question number 3. Who is the only player to score 100 league goals in England and Scotland?
Kenny Dalglish.
Kenny Dalglish. 2-0. Let's see. Question number 4. Which ex-member of Chelsea's Foreign Brigade was awarded an OBE in 2004?
Gianfranco Zola.
3-0, Anthony. Wow.
I didn't even know who they were.
We'll go for the last one.
Wee consolation, maybe.
Wee consolation, right? Question number 5. Which team are known as the Cherries?
Oh. Brighton.
Nope. Franny?
No. Oh, that's terrible.
I know it's no, but I need to go Bournemouth. I
3.
have no idea.
What'd you go?
I said Bournemouth, but it's no them.
3-1. There you got a cancellation. Anthony won it, but 3-1. Bournemouth for the Cherries, yeah.
I don't know why I said Bournemouth. I totally didn't think that was right.
So that's 1 each from between Willie and Anthony then in terms of quiz wins. I'm going to keep a track of this and see who wins the most between now and then the season. But Franny, back to you in the studio.
Aye, as I was saying, we'll wrap up, and I should also mention that how we're on TikTok. I don't know, have we still got that there, Stephen?
Yeah, I'll put it up.
There we go. Follow us on that. I mean, we're trying to be down with the young kids with all this TikTok. Willie's doing brilliant with uploading and stuff. So
you're certainly doing it with the fashion, son.
Aye, I think I'll be getting. I might be the latest addition to it. I think, Anthony. I think I might be the latest addition to it. But no, if you want, just give us a wee follow on that and stuff. It's there just for a laugh, really. At the end of the day, I think Neil every clip on it's taking the piss out of one of us on it anyway.
I think he's a way to ask one if she likes the PlayStation.
Anthony, fire, big man. Like it.
Pumped at the cousin, now he's no slagging me. But,
I like the PlayStation. Do you like the PlayStation?
Aye, that's what I think. Poor me. What's he saying about? I know it's debatable. I'll admit I've got terrible fashion. It's up for debate. My fashion sense, I'll admit. But now, have you enjoyed it tonight, lads?
Brilliant, mate. Good time. Unbelievable.
Good. And then we'll wrap it up anyway. And as I said, we're back on Friday at 8:00. I'm not 100% sure. In fact, I think I'm on. On Friday, and hopefully we're talking about a positive result on for the Champions League, and I'll promise to dress better too. So we'll leave it at that, and I'll bid you farewell and a hail. See you later on. Cheers.